Society constantly tells you that when you're attacked, you need to fight back. They say you must defend your truth, explain yourself, and never let anyone walk all over you. But here's a brutal truth no one tells you. The exact moment you desperately try to defend yourself against a manipulator, you're making a confession. Your defensiveness is an admission that they found your weak spot and that they successfully struck it. So, how do you face someone who is actively trying to destroy your peace without feeling anything? How do you become completely bulletproof? Before we answer that, we need to talk about you. Because you're exhausted, aren't you? It's that bone-deep fatigue that no amount of sleep can fix. The exhaustion that comes from carrying the emotional weight of everyone around you. You're not just sitting in the room, you are the thermostat. You are constantly reading the room's emotional temperature to keep it from catching fire. And when a manipulator enters, your already fried nervous system gets wrung out all over again. Let's shift the paradigm. Stop looking at relationships as purely emotional interactions. Every human interaction is actually a transfer of energy. It's an economy. When a toxic individual, a manipulative coworker, or an emotionally immature family member provokes you, they aren't looking for the truth. What they crave, what they are actively hunting for, is your reaction. They want to siphon your energy. They toss a lit match. They criticize you, twist your words, and out of old habit, you react. You try to explain yourself, you get defensive, or you scramble to people please just to de-escalate the situation. Listen closely. The absolute second you lose your cool and start arguing, you've signed a contract. You've just handed them the remote control to your central nervous system. You are taking your most premium currency, your emotions, your peace, and your time, and handing it out for free to people throwing stones. By putting on your armor and fighting back, you implicitly agree that they have the authority to judge your worth. It's time to stop paying the bill for other people's chaos. Instead of listening to society's useless advice to just take a deep breath and count to 10, let's look at history to see how the greatest minds weaponize their psychology. Look at Emperor Napoleon and the diplomat Talleyrand. During a meeting, Napoleon completely lost his mind. He was screaming, frantically throwing things in a blind rage. And what did Talleyrand do? He didn't argue back. He didn't justify himself. He just stood there watching Napoleon in absolute, unbroken silence. That silence sucked all the power right out of Napoleon and out of the room. Or consider the Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius. He didn't view annoying, toxic people as personal threats. He viewed them simply as a blacksmith's sparks falling onto an apron. It's natural and it's completely harmless. Let them spark and then let them burn themselves out. You don't need to catch fire just because they are on fire. That is the art of emotional non-engagement. To do what Talleyrand or Marcus Aurelius did, you need a profound paradigm shift. You have to move from the position of a victim into a state of clinical pity. Next time a manipulator raises their voice, or when they try to gaslight you, I want you to look at them entirely differently. Don't see them as a powerful monster controlling your fate. Look at them the way a researcher observes a struggling specimen under a microscope. Observe their lack of control. Say to yourself in your head, look at how desperate they are for my energy. Look at how pathetic it is that they can't soothe themselves. Look at how completely dysregulated their nervous system is right now. The human brain is wired to expect reciprocity. When they hurl their anger at you, they expect a reaction to close the feedback loop. But when you apply clinical pity, you just hand them a blank wall. The loop can't close, and they fall into a state of psychological vertigo. Without your reaction to feed on, they will suffocate in their own momentum. They expect a war. When they are met with a void, they become powerless. You might physically be in the exact same room with them, but your emotional core has been relocated to a sanctuary they can never touch. Your silence isn't an escape, it's a fortress. Your detachment isn't isolation, it's a shelter. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to react. You become unlocatable and therefore unmanipulable. True power doesn't come from yelling the loudest.
Awaken and flourish in the
It
light.
comes from refusing to play their game. Let them exhaust themselves, crashing against the cold, hard surface of the gray rock you have become. Because here is the brutal truth: no one can manipulate something they can't find. You aren't just staying calm. You are free. You are bulletproof. If this resonates with your exhausted nervous system, I want you to stop, scroll down to the comments, and reclaim your power right now. Type, I observe, I do not react. And if this video explained the invisible weight you've been carrying all by yourself, hit that subscribe button.
Subscribe
These deep
and make sure to click the bell
psychological
icon.
frameworks aren't for everyone, but they are for you. Welcome to our sanctuary. I'll see you next time.